What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Slashers and Superheroes. I'm Cameron, this is Jacob, and welcome to another video. Now, we just got done doing a top anticipated movies of 2024, but turns out my OBS didn't have either my headphones or my microphone attached, so we're basically mute the entire time. Isn't that fun? So, we're going to do that video later, re-upload it later. Um, where is this man going? I'm recording and this man's walking off. Oh, he forgot his hat. Okay. So,
My bad, my
uh,
bad.
you're good, you're good.
We're ready.
Okay, cool. All right. So, if you're new here, please follow the links down below. Follow us on Twitter as well. And if you have been here before, welcome back. We appreciate you. These videos are going to be pretty long in length, so if you guys are willing to stay here and listen to us discuss, that would be very much appreciated. Stick by and just listen to us talk and ramble. So, welcome to the top 10 worst films of 2023. Now, this one was kind of hard because there's been some meh films for me, but there's
Yeah.
also been some like really bad films for me. Um, now,
So before we even start, you've seen more movies than me
I
this
have,
year.
I have.
You've seen about 10 more, I
Mm.
think.
Mhm.
So your lows are lower than mine as far as the top 10 worst.
Yeah,
But I feel like some of these are going to have about the same. We'll see. But
we'll see.
yeah. So you had more to choose from as far as the top 10 worst.
That is true. And plus, my tastes are different. You know, our
Mhm.
tastes are different from each other's. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. We got a long way to go to get in, and we'll get into this. Number 10. So, my our number 10s. So, since I started first in the long but never forgotten um, anticipated movies video that will never reach YouTube, you go ahead and go first with your number 10.
So my number 10 is a movie we saw beginning of the year. Can't remember if it was January or February, but it was beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Megan
Yeah,
is my number 10.
yeah, yeah.
This is a movie. I thought the concept was cool. It kind of reminded me of 2019 Chucky with
Yeah.
the robotic version. The concept was cool, and I think there's a cut of this, or there's a version of this that could have been really good, but they kind of PG-13 to down to go for a younger audience. I know leading up to the movie, the marketing and stuff was going viral on TikTok with Megan dancing and everything.
Megan? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So they really made it tame. For me, it was too tame. Like there's PG-13 horror movies that work. For me, this didn't work. It was so tame that I found it boring. And at first, like when I first got out of the theater, I thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
And then I watched it again when it was on streaming, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is very good. So yeah, this movie was forgettable. Not the very bottom of my list. It's number 10. So for the most part, it's really forgettable. But yeah, it wasn't like downright awful. But yeah, just really forgettable. Is Megan's my number 10.
Yeah, Megan. I think it's still fun.
Yeah.
It's not in my top 10 because again I've seen more movies, but
Mhm.
um, I do agree that the PG-13 rating really hurt it a lot. Because if it was
Mhm.
rated R, it would definitely been an incredible just film, and I think it would have been
Yeah.
taken to really great heights. And even with the R-rated cut coming out, like some of the stuff that they took out didn't really help the film at all. And I really wish that they would have,
Yeah. The
expanded that on
R-rated
more.
cut, the R-rated cut wasn't really that much more violent.
Yeah,
Like it was like cutaway kills. They just kind of stayed on for a second longer,
yeah,
like the ear pull in the
hmm
forest with Megan. they kind of just lingered on it a little bit more and made it a little bit more bloodier. But it wasn't like anything where it was like, wow, this makes the film so much better. So
Yeah.
I feel like there's a version that was never made where it could have been really good.
I wish that version we could have seen that instead. Now I will
Mm-hmm.
say, the girl who plays Megan was really good, was fantastic in
Mm-hmm.
this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then Allison Williams, I think is her name from Get Out.
Yeah.
She was solid in it too. But the girl, I
Mm-hmm.
fucking hated the girl. So annoying and so ungrateful.
Are
Like,
you sure it's not in your top 10? I don't know.
yeah, it's not my top 10, but the girl really did annoy me. Like, to the point where I wanted to just like jump through the theater screen and just punch her in the
Yeah.
face.
To be
Like,
honest,
I get,
I didn't go that far with it, but I did I did think the characters were very forgettable. Like
yeah,
the performances were good, but as far as like the character writing, there wasn't really much like character development. Like it was, I don't know, it was a just a forgettable Blumhouse movie.
yeah, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, Blumhouse has a lot of those. So,
Yeah.
but they still have some good films
Mm-hmm.
that Blumhouse comes out with, but they have a couple stinkers. So, but
Yep. Yep.
this movie's not stinky enough for me to be in top 10. But yeah, so that's your number 10, Megan.
Yep.
My number 10, which is, this one is actually really, really surprising, because when I actually stepped out of the theater for this one, I was like, wow, I actually like this one a lot. Um, but my number 10 is The Flash. Um,
Oh, okay.
I did like this film coming out. Okay, don't get me wrong, but then as I thought about it, I was like, this movie's kind of pointless. Like, everything that happens in this movie is not gonna matter within the DC. Like, so, and plus the CGI was god awful. Probably some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in any film ever. Right, and in some of the cameos that happen in this film, like, it's completely pointless. There's no reason for them at all. Um, Now I do like Ezra Miller as Barry Allen,
Mm-hmm.
but just like, I feel like he tried too hard.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift, and they brought Michael Keaton's Batman back in, for some sort of redemption story, and like, it led to nothing for me personally. Um,
Well, that's the problem with that was like the whole problem with the whole DC shifting over to James Gunn's DC. To me, with after the Flash coming out and Blue Beetle, Shazam 2 before the Flash, and Aquaman coming up, they should have waited until all the DC movies were released and then they announced the whole James Gunn. Like, because I get it like, you know, they want to get the excitement and they're excited to do it. And James Gunn was announcing all these movies that are going to be coming out for the first phase or first chapter.
right.
But yeah, it really hurt these movies. It made all the DC e movies for the most part. I know there's one that's actually in my top 10 best for the DCU.
Yeah, we
But
know which
like
one that
yeah,
is.
but like Shazam 2, it kind of felt pointless.
Yeah,
Flash felt pointless. It's not in my top 10 worst, The Flash,
right.
but it wasn't far from it. It was like kind of around the middle range. Um, but yeah, that was a problem with like these DCU movies. Aquaman 2, that's about to be coming out. It's kind of pointless because Jason Momoa is probably not coming back as
Yeah, we had Jason
Aquaman.
Momoa in an interview saying, I don't know if I may be back. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Like,
So, and I get it because Warner Brothers they want to release it just to make some type of money
mm-hmm.
because if they don't release it at all or they put it straight to streaming and not theaters, then
They're gonna lose
it's going
money.
to lose even more money. So they
Mm-hmm.
were just trying to make something back. Yeah, I get you. Where I get what you're saying about how it felt pointless after you're sitting in the theater for 2 hours.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, again, Warner Brothers has that Barbie money, so I think they'll be okay. Number 9. All right, you're number 9.
My number 9 is another Blumhouse movie.
Do not say
Um,
it. If you say it, I'm gonna lose my
my
mind.
number 9 is Five Nights at Freddy's.
God damn it! Why?
I'm sorry. Um, so this is very similar to Megan, and I thought I get it's not aimed for me, I get it's aimed for younger audience and people that
And
are big
me,
Five Nights at Freddy fans.
me.
That's what I'm saying. But just like Megan, I thought it was way too tame. And the reason why it's a little bit lower than Megan, as far as being higher on the worst list, is I thought the plot was just very thin. Like the location's cool with with the was it the pizzeria or whatever, the
Mhm.
pizza place.
Look just like the game, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll get into the positives real quick of the
Mhm.
movie. But yeah, first, like I thought the plot was like paper thin. Like I'm sitting there watching it. We're an hour into the movie, and all I'm seeing are dream sequences, like with Josh Hutcherson. Like, and I don't know, like characters to me, characters weren't anything to write home about. Um, yeah, the plot was just stretched out. Like this movie should not have been almost 2 hours to me. Um, and yeah, I thought the third act was a little bit too goofy. Getting into the positives, the location was really cool. I thought the set design and everything was great. The animatronics were really cool. And I thought the standout was Matthew Lillard. I thought Matthew Lillard was great.
Yeah.
And we've talked about Matthew Lillard before, how he's an underrated actor, and I think he is. So yeah, he was a standout in this movie, but yeah, for the most part, it was just very forgettable, and I thought it was too long. And yeah, it's there. I know they're making a sequel because of how much money this made. So hopefully, there's kind of more to the story than just a bunch of dream sequences for an hour, and then you get the third act with Matthew Lillard. So yeah, sorry, man. That's my number 9.
It's okay. I get it.
I hope
See,
I gave good reasoning instead
yeah,
of just
you
being
you
like,
did.
"This is
You did.
trash."
You did. The reason why it's not my top 10, like again, Matthew Lillard was great. When he got casted in the movie, I'm like, I know exactly who he is. Like that's the type of fan I am of this whole
Mhm.
entire FNAF thing. Like as soon as he got casted, I'm like, oh yeah, he's William Afton. And there's a reason why, because he was so good in Scream.
Mhm.
Um, as being just this whack faced, just serial killer type mentality guy, right? Um, yeah, the Springtrap suit looked great, and the animatronic stuff looked good. Um, and I do agree that some stuff, it did kind of drag on too long, and we had way too many dreams. And Josh Hutcherson probably should have stopped going to sleep, especially at work. He went to bed at work. Okay, um, but it was a complete like fanfare movie. Like it was for the fans, right? And
Yeah.
that's why the audience score is so damn high. Is because the most the audience is mostly fans of
Yeah.
the games and the lore and everything, and to see all of it come onto the big screen is such a big deal for us. But I can see why it's in your
Mhm.
worst. But for me, it was just it was solid enough to where what didn't, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And like, and why they're very similar with this and Megan.
mhm.
Um, but the reason why I have it a little bit higher than Megan is because like rewatchability. I think the plot for Megan's a little bit less thin and it's shorter. So I think it's slightly more fun Megan than Five Nights at Freddy's, at least for me.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Um, my number 9. Um, now this might make some people upset. I don't know. Haunted Mansion. Um, Haunted Mansion.
God, the movie is way too long.
Ad placement. Ad placement. The movie is what it was. Oh, I got this scarf from CVS. Oh, I got these tissues from Amazon. Like, and Owen Wilson is eating a Whopper in the car, and the Burger King logo is sticking out like a sore damn thumb, right? And like, oh, I went to Costco for these cookies, or whatever Tiffany Haddish said. I swear to God, it was
Those are
all
for. I won't lie. Those were some of the best jokes in the movie because a lot of the jokes didn't
no, they
land for
didn't.
me,
No,
but those that got a chuckle out of me.
yeah, like all the ad placements, and it was Tiffany
Yeah,
Haddish that said most of them. Just the
yeah,
way she said it. But again, we get it. Like, with me and Sonic, I love the Sonic movie and the running joke of the Olive Garden guy, right? The Olive Garden officer, and oh, here's a gift card for Olive Garden, sir. that was funny. But like when you're running like complete, like I get it, Disney, I get it. You own everything. You don't have to tell me that. The characters, Lakeith Stanfield, I love him. He's a great actor, but I just didn't care for his character at all. It felt forced to me. And a lot of the other characters, Owen Wilson, I love him too, but I just really didn't care about him. I didn't care about anybody. I really didn't. Um, Now you can call me a stickler, you can call me an old man, you can do whatever, but I just think that this movie was kind of pointless. You know, um, just another cash grab thing that Disney did just to, profiteer off one of their rides. And, Pirates of the Caribbean, they did that. They made a movie off that theme ride, whatever. And then I think, I'd rather watch the old school Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion over this, and that movie's not all that great. But I'd rather watch that than this, Again, ad placement the movie, but I and but I would still watch The Flash over this. So that's why it's number 9 for me. But yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah,
Going on.
that one just missed my top 10. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. First of all, that movie's way too long.
Mm-hmm.
That I was kind of on board with the characters, and then by the time it got to like the last 20 minutes or so, I was done. I was like, it's time to go. Like, I don't care about this big, you know, character character arc. Like, it's time to go. I have had too many CGI ghosts flying at my face.
I,
Um,
I, I did like Jared Leto as the main ghost baddie. I think he did
yeah,
good.
yeah, it was cool.
And his little voice,
Yeah, the movie's
performance
not
was
bad.
good.
It's just like you said, it was kind of pointless. Like, it was very much product placement, uh, Disney ride the movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I thought I thought at moments it was fun, but yeah, just missed my top 10. But yeah, I believe it was right outside of it if I remember right. Like I didn't I think I gave this movie like a 3 out of 5. Like it's kind of average to a little bit above average, but yeah.
Number 8. How about your number 8? We'll start
All
at number
right.
8 for you.
So my number 8 is Ant-Man Quantum Mania.
Okay.
So let's get the positives out of the way. Jonathan Majors as Kang was a
Yeah.
great villain.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So getting into the bad. uh,
Dad.
let's start with the thing everything. Yeah. So let's start with the thing that everything talks about this movie, the visual effects.
Are awful.
Yeah. They couldn't have made it any more obvious that they were in the volume, like
Yeah.
in that room.
Yeah, that big green screen room that the
Yeah.
Mandalorian uses.
While, like you said, the acting at times wasn't great. Modoc, I did not like his design. Like I get it, it was very accurate to the comics.
That's
but
what his
it was
design
one of those
is.
things-
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like in live action, it was just so goofy.
Yeah.
And they made his character really goofy too. Like I don't know, just how his character was, and talking about how great King was. I did not like how he was defeated by. He was just kind of trampled by ants.
By ants.
Um,
The most
yeah.
dangerous man in the multiverse got defeated by trampling ants.
And after seeing this movie, I think that Ant-Man and Scott Lang, I think Ant-Man movies kind of work better with a smaller scale. This one went like huge in the quantum realm, bunch of visual effects, big battle and everything. And I think that Ant-Man, the character works better, or its movies work better for a smaller scale. Ant-Man Run, I really like. It's not like top 5 MCU for me or anything. By the way, check out the ranking for
Right.
MCU.
Yes.
Shameless yeah, plug. I think it works better with a smaller scale. Yeah. So, and I thought, just definitely not. I wouldn't say forgettable because there's some straight cringe moments,
Mm-hmm.
like with Cassie talking to Modoc.
Don't be a
Um,
dick.
yeah,
I don't know, just don't be a dick.
It's too late. Look at me. I'm such a dick.
It's never too late to stop being a dick.
but yeah, Ant-Man 3 is my number 8.
Damn.
Or Ant-Man Quantumania, excuse me.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later because it's lower in my list.
Okay.
So my number 8 is Walking the Movie 65. Cause just walking the movie.
We'll just throw it together. That was my number 7.
Okay.
Coming up next.
Okay,
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 65, literally land on a planet, walk, find girl that can't speak. Well, actually, no, he crashes. Right. We're gonna spoil the movie because don't go watch it, please. So he crashes. Right. Lands. The girl's in the same like ship. Right. She's like in the back of the ship or whatever. I don't even remember the fucking movie. I think she's in the same ship or she lands after. I don't remember.
Yeah, I watched it more recently than you, so yeah, she survives in the other ship that crashes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Other ship.
Yeah.
So he goes and finds her. She doesn't speak fucking English. I don't know.
No, I was gonna say like that was just because it's my number 7. I could try to chime into. That was one of the problems with the movie for me was that I wasn't able to connect at all with their relationship because there was a language barrier, and I don't know. A lot of the movie it was like him repeating, "Do you hear me? Do this." Do this, and she just kind of blankly stares at him.
Hey, girl.
Or she'll talk in her language, and it's Adam Driver going, "Huh?" Like it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't connect. Like I get what they were doing. I get what they were kind of doing, like a Last of Us type thing, like a father daughter.
A shitty version of The Last of Us is what you're telling me.
There being a language barrier really hurt the movie.
Yeah.
And you talk about more of your problems, but yeah, I agree. That was one of my problems was not being able to connect with those two characters.
Yeah. So he finds the girl, wakes her up, makes sure she's warm because they land in like a big body of water, right? And they walk in this body of water, and then they stop, and Adam Driver goes, "Huh?" Right? Tries to figure out what she's saying, and then they walk some more, and then Adam Driver's like, "Huh?" And then they continue walking some more. And again, it's just walking the movie. And then, like, every 5 minutes, they just continue to walk. And then Adam Driver tries to figure out how to talk to her. And then they run into a dinosaur. And then they get away. And then they walk some more. And then Adam Driver tries to talk to her. It's literally the same shit over and over again. And it drives me fucking insane. Like, literally, I'm losing my fucking mind talking about it right now. But again, it's just a slodge to get through. It's just painful, and luckily the movie's not that long. But like, it's a cool premise, like landing in a prehistoric, like type of area in the future, fighting dinosaurs, T-Rexes with alien energy guns. Like, that's cool, but it was just boring.
This movie reminded me of another movie that came out about 10 years ago called After Earth. Have you seen that?
Yes, the Jaden
with Will Smith and Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very similar to me. It was like you said, it was when it came down to it and you watched the movie, you're like, there wasn't much to this plot, was there? Like lands, walks, finds other ship, fights creatures along the way, and then escapes into the movie. So that was my number 7.
And listen, Adam Driver is a great actor. I always find him to be great and some stuff, but he's got a lot of stinkers.
Instead of just us straight trashing the movie, I thought the visuals
and the
good.
action stuff, like
I thought the visuals were good, and like the design of the creatures, it was cool. Like, the CGI and everything was cool, and when the actual action was happening, it was passable. It wasn't like I'm bored out of my mind, but there wasn't enough of it to me.
Yeah,
like I feel like you got way more walking and them trying to understand what each other's saying more than the action. So yeah,
And the final action scene was actually pretty cool. It was cool.
yeah.
I liked it. But again, like I said, Adam Driver's a great actor, but he's just done a lot of bad stuff, like Marriage Story, and then he's good as Kylo Ren in Star Wars, but like those Star Wars movies aren't good, right? And so
He wasn't to me with just getting into. We don't have to go into Star Wars too much, but
yeah,
he was never the problem to me.
yeah, he never
With,
was.
yeah, him and his character were never the problem.
Yeah.
There was a lot more problems going on with that Star Wars trilogy.
And Ariana Greenblatt, she's becoming one of the, she's a young star. She's, she's in almost everything now, and she's a good actress. She's a good young actress, but I just couldn't connect with anything. I couldn't. But yeah, so that's my number 8, and then your number 7 was 65.
Yeah. So
we
do
can
you
go.
want to get into your number 7?
Yeah, we'll go into my number 7.
Number 7.
Yeah, so my number 7 is We Have a Ghost. Now,
that's one I haven't seen.
Yeah. The premise, no, the reason why I watched it was because David Harbour was in it. And now, if you don't know, I think we may have mentioned it in this video, or no, we mentioned it in the anticipated movies that will not see the day of light until after we record this stuff and upload it. But we're big Stranger Things fans, and so we love David and the stuff that he's in. So I was curious because I'm like, David Harbour as a ghost, this would be cool. Until I figured out that this ghost, this is not really a spoiler. I guess it's a spoiler. I don't know.
I honestly, you can get into spoilers.
Okay.
As far as me, I don't care.
Okay. He doesn't talk. David Harbour's ghost doesn't talk.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, he doesn't talk at all. And I'm like, okay. And literally the entire premise of the film is that this family that moves into this house, they find the ghost in the attic and they record him, and he becomes a sensation. And then the CIA tries to hunt down this ghost and basically get him off the internet because he's too popular. That's the premise of the film. And it's not done well. Okay? Okay, let me just say the positives real quick. As Jacob gets up. Let me go ahead and just say the positives real quick. I do think David Harbour, his mannerisms are good. He's a good physical actor. He showed that to us in season 4 of Stranger Things, especially when he was in Russia, right? And I do think the CGI for him as a ghost was good. And I do think I like Anthony Mackie. He was good in this. But now I'll get into the negatives. The plot seemed like just super disconjointed. It didn't feel connected at all. And it kind of felt rushed in parts and then dragged in others, and it just wasn't cohesive. And the main CIA agent lady, I know she's like a comedian, right? People know her. I haven't heard of her until then, but I forgot her name, but she's super cringe. I don't get it. I don't get her style. And just a lot didn't work for me, and it was just boring, and I found myself skipping through parts, but like some of the emotional tidbits with the ghost and the family and the ghost's backstory, I mean, it was okay. It was done well, just fine, but like I just couldn't get into it, and it just was a slog, and I found myself skipping through things, and it was a pain to get through, and it was really boring, and I feel bad because David Harbour was actually pretty good in it with his physical acting, but yeah, We Have a Ghost is number 7 for that reason. So if you liked it, I'm sorry, but it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Number 6.
So my number 6 is Transformers. Did you know this was set in the 90s? Rise of the Beast. Which is, I'll start it out. That's one of my negatives. My lord, if they really threw it in your face. This is set in the 90s.
Did you know?
Uh,
Hey, Jacob, wait, hold on. 1 second. Did you know, fun fact, that this movie, Rise of the Beasts, is set in the 90s?
no, didn't know that.
Ah, wow. Now you know.
Yeah, Transformers: Rise of the Beast. I'm not a big Transformers fan. I do like the first one with Shia LaBeouf. And yeah, this was to me, it was very generic blockbuster movie. I thought the dialogue between the Transformers, between the Autobots,
Faced anything like this. Let them come.
the Autobots, I thought was pretty cringe, and was not invested in any of his characters. I thought the main character was actually kind of annoying at times. And I know it has a big fan base and people really like this movie, the Transformers fans. But to me, it was the Transformers action that I saw was nothing that I haven't seen before, and I thought the first Transformers with Shia LaBeouf did it better, at least to me.
They were definitely
Yeah.
on a bigger scale. But that's
Mhm.
because Michael Bay directed it, and we know his style. It's just
Yep.
full-on scale.
So yeah, number 6, Transformers. Yeah, this very generic blockbuster movie that I thought was pretty annoying at times, and like I said, if you didn't know it was set in the 90s, they really let you know
Mhm.
with the 90s music playing every 5 seconds throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, number 6 is Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Yeah, that film, I thought the action scenes were cool, but again, it's nothing that we had seen.
Mhm.
And I hated how they provided a backstory for the main character that was just like emotional manipulation, just to get us to like the person. You know what I
And
mean?
yeah, and the ending too. I
Oh
can't believe
my.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, don't spoil
The
it. Don't
ending,
spoil it. But there's like a crossover
yeah,
between Transformers and another franchise that has nothing to do with Transformers. None. Anyway, you continue. I had to get
it
that out.
was. I would just say the crossover that they're planning to do when you see it is the most eye rolling. You guys really think you're geniuses type decision. Like, yeah, I can't believe I forgot about the ending. Yeah, the
Yeah.
ending of it too.
I was gonna mention it because I was like, how did he not forget this?
Yeah.
How did he forget this? You know. But anyway, like when I had seen it, I was just like, are you kidding me? Like at first I was elated, then I remembered that this is a Transformers movie, and I was like, what the fuck? Like that's what I said in my seat. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's your number 6 is Transformers: Rise of the Beast. My number 6 is a movie that tried way too fucking hard. It tried way too hard. Infinity Pool. This movie was weird. It was super weird, and I know that people. It was an indie film. I think it was produced by A24, or I think so.
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
It was it starred Alexander Skarsgård and Mia Goth. Now Mia Goth, I know she's great in Pearl and she's great in X, but in this film she just takes what she does in Pearl and X and she takes it to level 100, and it's just complete overload. Like it's just too much. She tries too hard, and like the plot, like it's a cool idea, but they just like they walk the path, right, and then they just completely swerve off the road and they go on a completely different territory, and it just becomes like all right, let's go back to the actual plot that was interesting. You know, the plot was interesting. You weren't doing it all that well, but it was interesting. Can we go back to that, please, so we can get a payoff for this? And the characters were really stupid and really annoying, and it just was too much. And Alexander Skarsgård's character is a big meow meow kitty cat. Just like I'm not trying to say the p word. Okay, he's a
Oh,
P
okay.
word.
I was like, he's an actual cat.
No, he's a p word. He's just
Okay. Yeah.
Mia Goth's character's telling him what to do and where to go.
He's a wimp.
And he's a wimp. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he went to this resort with his wife, and his poor wife and Mia Goth is this girl that was just like, yeah, come do this. Here's my tits. It's just it's ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, that's my number 6, Infinity Pool. It's just way too weird for me, man. It's
Yeah,
just way
I
too
haven't
weird.
seen that, but you've completely sold it for me to watch it. Though.
Yeah, it's way too weird, man. It's way too weird for me.
Number 5.
So my number 5 is a movie, the most recent movie on this list that I've watched. It is Exorcist Believer. Watched this a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep, me too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, number 5, Exorcist Believer. This is a movie. Okay, so positives out of the way first. The first 30 minutes or so, I was actually on board.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
very
it was.
cool.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought the tension was good. How you can tell something bad was coming, with them going missing and them, trying to figure out where they are and everything. But once, I can't remember her name, Ellen Burstyn. Once she gets into the story and they go back and they start tying in, threads from the original,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it full on becomes generic possession movie. Like, and the thing about what made it bad was that it was a generic possession movie, but it tried so hard to be like edgy and, and really scare you that you could tell how hard they were trying. So it just made it funny and not scary at all. Yeah, it's just it's kind of, I know it's kind of a lose thing because they're not going to be able to top the original Exorcist, but yeah, they could have at least not had to try to make it not a generic possession movie. And there's a generic possession movie ahead of this that I think is a little bit more generic and bad.
Yeah,
But
we'll,
yeah,
we'll talk about
Exorcist
that later.
Believer is my number 5.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, Exorcist Believer. I'll get into that more later because it's also further on my list.
Mhm.
My number 5 is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The only good thing about this film was Kang, and then that all went to shit when he got trampled by ants. And then the entire visual effects department needs to be fired. Whoever screams.
Well, but I kind of feel bad for the visual effects because it came out after this movie that they were like
Overworked, yeah.
freaking
I
working
remember
to
that.
the bone. Yeah. They were like working like freaking 20-hour days. Like it was insane.
Yeah.
So it's like, God, no wonder.
Yeah.
No wonder these effects look like PS2 graphics. Like,
Yeah. And the movie tried so hard to be funny and it really wasn't. And
yeah.
it just like and like the characters, like they would introduce a character and then they would have like these like very important lines to produce, like to further the story, but you're like, I don't know you, I don't care about you, why are you saying these things? And then they had David, I forgot how to say his last name. He was Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad. He was
Yeah, I know
the
you're
Russian
talking about
guy
it.
in Ant-Man.
I'm not even gonna try to say his last name. I'll butcher it.
Yeah, I would butcher it too. But he was the little gel guy, right?
Yeah.
And remember that one scene? Do you remember? I have holes. I have holes.
Yeah.
I have holes. I have holes. Yeah!
Shoot me. It wasn't funny, right? And the only good thing about it was Kang. That just went out the window super fast. But yeah, with all this stuff I'm saying about this movie, you'd think it would be number 1, but no, there are worse films.
Number 4.
And my number 4, I'll start with number 4. We'll alternate because your number 5 is my number 4, Exorcist Believer. Let's get into this, okay? Exorcist Believer. Now, I do agree with you. The first couple minutes were very interesting.
Couple minutes.
No,
I said first 30. Like I'm giving it more
no,
credit.
No, 30 minutes. That's what I meant.
Okay.
leading up to the whole backstory behind Angela. It was Angela and Catherine, I think those were the girls' names. Backstory on Angela's mom and the whole thing. Her relationship with her dad. It was super sweet, and the disappearance, and then the first couple scenes with Angela being back at the house and being all really creepy and being like, "What'd you say?" Like that stuff was
I
cool.
like all that.
Yeah, like the stuff that didn't have
It was
anything.
right. It went downhill right when they started forcing it to be a Exorcist sequel.
Yeah, and they didn't provide any like what's been really cool is how they were able it showed them like doing the stuff that led them to getting possessed, right? But like I would have liked to seen like from their point of view like what happened. Like did something attack
Well,
them?
maybe we do get that because I know there's gonna be a freaking trilogy with David Gordon Green.
Oh
So
my
maybe
God.
we do get that. I don't know now because this movie was absolutely slammed. but
Yeah.
we'll see. Yeah.
And let's not forget, what they did to freaking Chris McNeil's character. She says a patriarchy line that's completely stupid and out of left field and makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. And then when she walks into Catherine's house to be like, "Get out of this girl, you demon!" And then the demon is like, "Okay," and stands up and then takes a
Yeah,
cross
and-
and stabs her eyes out, and she becomes Daredevil. Right, is what you said.
Yeah, and
when you
I
texted
thought
me.
just getting into like the funny parts about it trying so hard. What was up with the like Avengers of Priest gathered around in the circle, all doing their own thing of like
Yeah.
different languages and everything and different
Yeah.
religions. It was like the Priest Avengers, all, and then like it was I don't know, it was like they were trying so hard at being like this massive thing, which I don't even want to know what the freaking second and third one is. This is the first one of a trilogy. Yeah, them like outside of the house being like gathered around in a circle, like planning everything out. It was like, what is this? Like,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I will say, the girls who played Angela and Catherine, they try, they really do.
Mhm.
They're
They're
good.
good.
They're good creepy girls. Okay, they are.
Mhm.
And God bless
Their
Leslie.
dialogue though,
Yeah, it was
their
bad.
dialogue. It's very similar to a movie that's coming up where it was like it trying so hard to be edgy that it was just funny.
Yeah, I know which line you're talking about for that film, but
Mhm.
they're good creepy girls, right? But the lines that they said and the demon voices. Oh my God, I can do better demon voices than they did, right?
The body in the blood. 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 The body in the blood.
And I felt like poor Leslie Odom. He's a great actor. He just got put in shit, and this is like he tried, right? But he just got dumped on in a big pile of doo doo, So again, it tried too hard. It was way too generic. And please stop making possession movies. The last good possession movie was The Conjuring 2. It's the last good one. I feel
No,
like.
yeah, we had a good one this year.
I'm trying to remember.
The A24.
I'm trying to remember.
Talk to me.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Yep.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. We'll talk about that later. But again, generic, and just please stop making these. I don't want a trilogy, and keep David Gordon Green away, please. Just for the love of God, please. But yeah, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is a movie you haven't seen. I've been trying to get you to freaking watch it. You won't do it. It's Zoe 102.
Oh no. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Zoe
man.
101 was one of my favorite shows growing up. So I wouldn't say I was excited for this movie, but I was curious to check it out.
Mhm.
It baffles me that this is the story they came up with this far after Zoe 101 ended. Oh, man. So I don't know. I don't want to get on. We'll get into spoilers, whatever. You're not going to watch this, or you're going to eventually. It's way too late. But
Yeah.
so Logan and Quinn, who end
Yeah.
up together at the end of the show,
Right.
they have their wedding,
Okay.
and everybody's invited, and Zoe and Chase aren't really on speaking terms because once again, just like in the show, I don't know if you remember how Zoe 101 ended, but they end up going to like this trip to end the show. Like they're back together and they're gonna go on this trip. Well, the movie writes how they go on this trip and then Zoe dumps him again, and so he finally just ghosts her, and then they're like not on speaking terms. It was just such a. And then there's a random subplot with like a murder mystery because I can't remember her name, but the girl that like builds like the freaking cotton swab houses
Yeah.
and has the lisp.
Yeah.
She's like a murder mystery podcaster for like true crime. And so there's like a subplot where there's like some kind of serial killer on the loose, and then you come to find out it's like one of their friends that's like wasn't in the Zoe 101 show. It's like a new character. But the movie ends with him opening the trunk and there being a body in the trunk. And when you're watching a Nickelodeon sequel,
Hold on 1 second. So they weren't like playing like some like murder mystery. Here's a card. This is what your role is.
No,
Here's an
it's
actual
real.
serial killer.
There's an actual subplot of a serial killer on the loose, and they're trying to figure out not them, but you know, he hasn't been figured out yet of who it is, and the movie ends with the literal last shot of the movie of a Nickelodeon movie that's a sequel to the Nickelodeon show. The last shot of the movie is where it reveals who the serial killer is because he lifts his trunk of his car and there's a body. There's like a bag with a body in there, and he like smiles at the camera and then closes the trunk, and then it ends. And it's like, who thought it was a good idea to have a random subplot of a freaking serial killer in a Zoe 101 sequel movie? Like, it's hilarious when you watch it. Like, you gotta watch it.
So great meeting you, Todd.
Sorry again about that little mix-up.
Oh, don't even worry about it. You guys get home safe, okay?
There's a funny part. I can't remember what song he sings, but there's a funny part where Michael, who was always my favorite character in Zoe 101,
Yeah.
we're getting into the positives here. They had like a little like karaoke party at a bar, and Michael gets up on stage to do his karaoke. That was like a charming, fun part that kind of made me happy because I was like, I miss that character. Yeah. Other than that, very odd choices with the plots, and yeah, it was one of those where they just waited too long to do a sequel movie. Like it just felt weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just like how I sold you on Infinity Pool, you sold me on that. So I'll eventually check it out. But yeah, those are our number fours. That's crazy. The serial killer and anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Number 3.
All right, so for my number 3, it's The Pope's Exorcist. Another exorcism
That's also my
movie.
number 3.
All right,
So
so
we'll just
look
talk about
at
it.
that.
Yeah.
Look at that. We can talk about it. I'm gonna fuck you to death. Fuck you, Christ. I'm gonna make you come. Like what?
Okay, never do that again.
Like, so that's what Jacob means. Like when they try to be too fucking edgy and it just comes out super funny. Like the demon voice that comes out of this child is like super
constantly
funny.
Like the demon child constantly calling him a pig and a piggy and like fatso and like well what's the funny video where the kid's talking about what names the bullies call him,
Yeah.
and the older adult just starts just like naming off these freaking fat joke names. Like it was kind of like that. It was like him constantly being called fatso and piggy and oink oink, and it was hilarious.
Yeah. Like I don't even remember anything about this movie. I just remember that one scene that, the demon's like, I'm gonna make you come. That's the only one I remember. It's the only part of the film I remember. Like I remember, okay, this is what I remember. So I remember this this family, this single mom with 2 kids. She buys a fucking hotel, I think is what she buys a hotel, right? Like a rundown hotel.
You can pretty much call it that. It was a massive house.
A massive house.
Yeah.
Whatever. So she buys this big. She doesn't buy it. I think she inherits it. Either way.
I tell you this, dude. I watched that movie less than a month ago. Couldn't tell you the like intricate details of the plot.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I wiped it from my mind. Yeah.
I watched it when it first came out. I don't remember anything. I don't.
Mhm.
Okay, let me just say this: Russell Crowe is good. Okay, he's
Okay,
a
so
great actor. He's
here's
good
here's
in
the
this.
plot. So Russell Crowe is a priest
Yes.
who deals with supernatural like exorcism type things. Uh, little boy in the family of three. Boy in the family gets possessed. The whole movie, he's sitting on the bed and
Trash
he's
talking the priest.
saying a bunch of he's saying a bunch of edgy, cringy lines. Demon eventually goes into Russell Crowe, and he becomes the demon, and he chases him around the house. And then they find like this underground thing where like apparently there's like history or something as far as this demon and everything,
Yeah.
and it just turns into a full on like I said, Nexus. It turned out to a full on like freaking Avengers Endgame Exorcist movie. Like it's yeah, that sums it up.
Yeah. It's just bad all around. I don't recommend any of you watching it, but if you do want to watch it for that one scene I'm
I mean,
talking about,
it's on Netflix, so like I guess if you want to get a laugh and you have Netflix, then go ahead. I mean,
yeah. But I mean, that's only if you have really nothing to do. If you
Yeah.
are bored out of your mind and you just want to laugh at a child talk about, things to a grown ass man, then go for it. Go watch it. But it's just
you want to see Russell Crowe ride a moped?
yes. Yeah. Go if you want to see Russell Crowe ride a moped, go watch it for that. But yeah, those are both our number 3s.
Number 2.
All right, so my number 2 is Fast X.
That is also my number 2. So cool. That's awesome.
This movie, it's a big budget movie, and are the effects cool and like well done? Yes, with like the car flipping and the freaking big ball rolling down this, going after, but going after Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
But this movie, the reason why it's so high to me is that this movie thinks it is so like mind-blowingly good.
Yeah.
With its dialogue, with its serious freaking dialogue about family, it takes itself so serious.
Everyone tries so seriously in this film. Everybody.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple like people that are just having fun,
Mhm.
But that's like
Jason
mainly
Momoa. Jason
Momoa is the
Momoa,
best part about this film. He is having so much fun, and he is
Mhm.
super like non-serious. But
Well, like
everyone
like,
around him is like super like Oscar worthy, like trying super hard to act.
yeah, and then you got like Vin Diesel. You got like Vin Diesel lifting up a car while he's holding a machine gun, and like he's like carrying the car as he's shooting the machine gun. And it's like, what is this? And my favorite part of the movie was, well, it was gonna be my favorite part of the movie, was in the middle when they have the race with I can't remember her name, but she's in it.
Danielle
she was, like,
Melchior, I think.
Yeah,
Danielle
yeah,
Melchior.
yeah. She was in like the Guardians movies, and she was Ratcatcher.
Yeah.
And Suicide Squad. She's in it, and like Moa and Vin Diesel, like all of them are about to race, and it's like, all right, cool, like yeah, we're getting a race here. And then about 2 seconds into the race, you find out, oh no, the race is never going to finish because Jason Momoa has freaking bombs under the cars, and then more explosions, and it's like, well, that scene was ruined.
Oh, and by the way, that random girl that's racing y'all, didn't you know that she's the sister of Dom's ex-wife who's dead?
That's another part with the movie. I think it's it's like mind-blowingly good. Is all the retconning, like the opening of the movie when Jason Momoa was the one in that office. And then if you go back and watch that movie, clearly was not anyone that looked like Jason Momoa.
I would have definitely noticed a big ass Jason Momoa. Yeah.
It was like all the and then the ending. Oh, first of all, too, this is not a finished movie. It just ends. Because I know it's a part 1 to part 2. I get it, but you still got to finish the movie. Like, Across the Spider-Verse is a part 1, or it's going to be a part 1 to Across, or Beyond. But that movie's at least somewhat like finished. Like you can see, okay, that's a good place to stop it. This just ends. It ends with the fire. It ends with Vin Diesel and his son going down the dam,
and the fire's chasing them.
The fire's chasing them. They get away, and then it cuts to it cuts to Gal Gadot alive, because that's what this franchise is now, just bringing people back. So she's alive. She peeks her head out of a tank or whatever, and and then it ends. And it's like
a submarine, by the way. She comes out of a submarine.
A submarine, whatever.
And,
Tank, submarine.
And
it's
before
supposed
that,
to be a freaking racing franchise, and then.
But before that was a post credit. But before that, they have the audacity to leave this film on a cliffhanger.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's another thing. It takes itself so serious. And if this movie didn't take itself serious and it kind of knew what it was, knew how stupid it was, I wouldn't say it wouldn't be on my list, but it definitely wouldn't be number 2.
Right.
So the fact that it takes itself so seriously and it's like this, and then another thing too, it takes itself so seriously, the over dramatic death scene of John Cena's character.
Raise the hell of the sun, Tom. Time for me to step out from under your shadow. Thanks for showing me the light. Jacob? That looks like Uncle Muscle won't be coming to the next barbecue.
Of him being like, I can't even remember what he says, but he's like, you did good, Dom. And then he drives off, like, and it's...
And then he blows up, and then Vin Diesel makes this like face, and he's like trying super hard like not to cry, but we both know that he's not like trying to cry. He's just making that face. It's just like, and I guarantee you, next movie, part 2, John Cena's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm back," and he's gonna have a rocket launcher or something like.
And can they at least, if they bring these characters back, can they at least somewhat have like some kind of repercussions or damage from their possible death? Like, if they're gonna bring back John Cena, at least have him be like in a wheelchair or something.
Yeah. Yeah, like Joe Swanson,
where he's not like it. They come back like Gal Gadot. She comes back not a freaking scratch on her body.
Makes no sense. Man.
These movies. We can go on. We can have a whole separate video about this franchise, but
yeah. But can I at least say one positive? Just one. I did like the relationship between John Cena and Dom's son. That was a cute little relationship. You know, the conversations they had, it was funny. But other than that, it was just a complete shit show. I didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah, so that's number 2.
Number 1.
And now, the moment you've been waiting for, our number 1 picks. Now, Jacob.
Did you do your number 2?
Yeah, both of ours are number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
But our number 1s, Jacob, you take it away. What's your number 1 worst film of the year?
So my least favorite film of 2023 was Cocaine Bear.
Wow. Okay.
This movie it wasn't like terribly made or anything, but I thought they didn't go far enough at all with the concept. So this was probably the most annoying movie for me of 2023. I don't think a single joke landed for me. And you would think like a concept about a freaking bear on cocaine and killing people, that could have been so wacky and
based on a true story too.
Yeah. It could have been like so like wacky and fun and over the top. They didn't make it over the top enough, at least to me.
Yeah.
Like, so it just came out as like boring. I don't know. It was like boring and annoying with the comedy and everything. So yeah, I hated this movie. And when I first saw the trailer, I thought it was going to be so ridiculous and so over the top that I would end up really liking it. And I was shocked with how much I disliked this movie when I saw it. Yeah, number 1 for me is Cocaine Bear.
I haven't seen Cocaine Bear, so that's actually kind of disappointing that you didn't like it as much. But it's got somewhat decent ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, so I'll check it out at some point. But my number 1, I think, is definitely a terrible movie. And I do think, if I ever were to watch Cocaine Bear, it would be worse. I would rather watch Cocaine Bear. Yeah, my number one is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Now, let me just say this: they're very super ambitious for trying this. You know, trying a serial killer Winnie the Pooh. And I did like the intro.
Ambitious? I would call it gimmicky, but
You know, whatever you want to call it, right?
I haven't seen it, by the way.
Yeah.
You know,
But I did like the intro. The intro of the film is the best part. So basically, it's like a hand-drawn intro of what has happened to Winnie and friends. And Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, and Tigger, they all eat Eeyore. They turn into...
Oh, I was going to say no Eeyore?
They eat Eeyore. They turn into cannibals because apparently when Christopher Robin left, you know, the entire other side of the tree just completely like got destroyed because I guess Christopher Robin grew up and his imagination, you know, went away and he turned into some sex-crazed teenager. And so literally the entire side of the tree was just like no food, no water. So basically they turned into cannibals. They ate Eeyore. And then that like little animation drawing of like the backstory, that was cool. And then it just went full on just airplane crash into the ground. Let's just say this. The actors, I swear to God, the actors and actresses are not actors and actresses. I swear to God. The director must have picked some random people off the street and been like, hey, you want to get paid $50 to act in this movie? It'll get you credentials. Come on in. Come act. And they brought him on. And they could not act for shit. They could not. Christopher Robin's actor, he was the only decent actor out of everybody. But even then, he was not all that great. And then the masks that that they make to look like Pooh and it's mostly Pooh and Tigger and Piglet that are going around. But it just looks like big fat country boys with masks on. Like they don't look like animals at all. Like add fur. The budget was probably not that high, so I'll give them that.
No, I think it was only like 100,000.
Yeah, so it wasn't that high, so I'll give them that. But it still didn't look all that great. The kills, there was nothing special about the kills. Literally, it was a Megan situation. Kill them, cut away. Whole thing. Whole gig thing. And then there's this one scene, you know, Christopher Robin and his girlfriend are away from the house. The other friends are in the rented house right now getting murdered, right? So they have no idea what's going on. They're walking down a path, and then this truck comes in, and it's just 4 scary-looking trucker guys with big bushy beards and trucker hats and overalls. They're like, hey, guys, you want to get in our car? And they're just like, they're like, if you don't get in our car, we're going to beat you up right now. And they start bringing out bats, and they're going to beat these people to death. And then before they can actually start doing that, Pooh comes out, and I swear to God, they took it from Halloween Kills. It was a full-on Michael Myers, like, they beat him down, right? And then he gets down on the ground, and they're like, we're coming after you next. They look at Christopher Robin, and then Pooh stands up and slaughters all of them, and Christopher Robin and his little girlfriend chick run away. And I swear to God,
it sounds awesome.
It was it's terrible, Jacob. Don't watch it. Like every single second of that felt like 1, a knockoff, and 2, every single person in that scene did not know how to act. It was god awful. Moral of the story is, there's a reason why this is my number 1. It is not great at all. But hey, if you want to laugh at some really bad acting, and if you want to laugh at just how terrible everything else is, go ahead, go for it. There's a sequel
coming too.
Yeah,
next year, I believe.
And I can't wait to put that as my number 1 for next year as well, because
well, I will say,
unless they have a bigger budget,
I believe it is bigger budget, and I believe with the sequel, the characters actually look like their characters. There's no like just a hillbilly with a mask. Like I think there's actual like Winnie the Pooh makeup and stuff because they have a bigger budget. So we'll see.
Okay, that's all I ask. Just a little bit I guess they've been given more budget, a little bit more effort on the costumes, and please get some actors and actresses that can act. Thank you. But yeah, that will. I can take a breath now. I can stop ranting. That will round out our top 10 worst films of the year. I can't wait to do this next year and rant some more. But that's going to do it for us here for our top 10 worst films. Be on the lookout for the 10 best films of the year, which we're about to record after we start recording this. This will be dropped pretty soon, so keep an eye out. And if you like this stuff, please like, subscribe, usual stuff. Links below, links up top. You know the deal. I'm Cameron. This is Jacob. And we will say good day to y'all. And we'll see y'all on the next Slashers and Superheroes.